Well, hi everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live and looking forward to tonight's broadcast. And normally on a Friday night, I try and do something to give us a bit of a smile. And today, when I was trying to think, what can we do that we haven't done that will hopefully, bring back some great memories and make a couple of people smile here and there, I thought, why don't we do a broadcast about famous lines from movies, and so people can either remember them and smile, or talk to me about what their feelings were about that particular movie and those sort of things. So I thought that would be a really nice way to go about today's broadcast. For those of you who might be new, welcome. We always enjoy having new people come in. We are a group of people who get together 3 times a week with the sole purpose of improving our emotional intelligence, our ability to cope. Hi, Jody. And how to really just get on and make our lives a lot happier. And that is something that we need to do and take responsibility for. We can't expect other people to do it. We need to do it for ourselves. And so every week we focus on different things. And at lunchtime today, I was giving a case study about this whole thing that happened to me about I'm buying and selling my home and trying to buy a new one. And I had got to the stage where I was just about at the point where all the subjects were removed on the sale of my home. And I had already found the place I wanted to go to, and everything was just beautiful. And then this side collapsed. And so from being all ready to move, just about, to suddenly I've got to start all over again. That was a bit of a roller coaster. So what I did at the lunchtime broadcast was to actually talk about that journey and what it was like for me. Because to me, and how I kept control of my emotions so that I didn't get angry or messed up in a negative frame of mind. And I thought it was a really good way to get people to understand that I went from nearly moving out to suddenly starting all over in the space of 48 hours. And that's not easy to control. But I must admit, I was really quite proud of how I did it, which is why I wanted to do a broadcast on what I needed to do, what I needed to let go of, how my thinking went. And I think those people who were there probably got some serious benefit from that, learning that process. And the point was, I then went on to explain how that works in other situations as well. And it really is not as difficult as you think. It just is. Hi, Erin. Good to see you, honey. Um, Erin, if you get a chance, you don't have to do it right now, but if you get a chance, let me have an update so that I can put it on uh, the Facebook page, or if it's in time, or talk about it on Sunday. All right, so that's where I was at, from really getting quite excited to suddenly here we go again from the beginning. That is quite a crash, but it actually was easier than I thought it would be because I had control of the realities. And I cannot tell you how important that is. I don't care whether it's about your love life, whether it's about things that are going wrong in your life or whatever. If you can just work on facts and not the emotion, you will get through this far better and far faster than you can imagine, as I demonstrated at lunchtime. So today I'm going to give you various quotes from different movies, and I know I've got a fun bunch of people on that have, seen more than one or two movies in their day. And so hopefully it will give you some smiles and some good memories. And what I'd like to know is, if you saw the movie, um, what do you remember best? If that was that was a movie that had an impact on you, what was it that you liked best about it, and what did it teach you? I want to tell you that in the days way, way, way back when I used to teach sales, I always said you can put up any movie that's ever been produced and do a sales seminar around it, because in every single movie. You have people selling themselves or their ideas to other people, and you have people objecting to them and all sorts of things. And so, really, part of the gift is that don't just see movies at the superficial level. Re-watch them and really see them from a different aspect. You might want to watch a really famous movie, and this time, instead of concentrating on the storyline that you know really well, try on having a look at it in terms of how do they cope with stress? How do they do this? How do they do that? And it's amazing how much you can learn from doing that. Okay, so we got an update from Erin. She said, I don't have a fever anymore. That's great to hear. Feeling much better. The only thing is there's still a little bit of congestion and I have a very persistent cough. We don't like that, but I'm sure you'll keep us informed. I appreciate the update, Erin. And Jody, can you just remind me to put an update up on Facebook either later tonight or tomorrow? I'd appreciate that. All right, so the very first quote is one that I'm certain that you all know well and that you all hopefully will smile when you hear it. And it is, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. All right, so for those of you who are really good at this one, which movie and any idea when that movie was released? Because sometimes we forget these iconic movies, just how long they've been around. And every now and then you're going to hear a fun fact that I find out about some of these movies, which I hope will be of interest to you. So, all right, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn came from which movie? And by the way, we've got a delay on the broadcast. So in 1938, you're very, very close, Jody. It was actually 1939. And yes, you are right. It was Gone with the Wind. All right. So did anybody not see Gone with the Wind? And what I want to know is, I don't know about the rest of you, but to me, if I had to watch one movie for the rest of my life, it would probably be Gone with the Wind, because it's got so much in it. It's got a love story, it's got history, it's got drama, it's got things going right, it's got things going horribly wrong. It's just got so many different aspects to it. And I think, when I look at it and say, if I could only take, 5 movies with me to watch for the rest of my life, Gone with the Wind would definitely be one of them for me. I don't know about the rest of you. And the reason being because of, there's just so much in it. And I came across somebody not so long ago who had never seen it. And I said, I don't care how old the movie is. It is I just don't know anybody that didn't gain from watching it. Whether they gained a bit about history, whether they gained a bit about, how to go about a relationship and how not to go about one, how to survive. It had so many different lessons in it that really blew my mind. Now, for those of you, hi, Lauren, for those of you, you've never seen it, Lauren, definitely, I'm pretty sure you can probably watch it online these days without too much trouble. But what I wanted to talk about for those of you who've seen it is, do you think that Scarlett O'Hara was, when she used to say, fiddle-dee-dee, tomorrow's another day. All right. She kept saying that tomorrow's another day throughout the movie. Do you think, it's really funny because I've changed my view about what was going on for her. When I saw the movie originally, I thought she was being just a little immature. And yet, when I look at it now, I go, gosh, or was she emotionally that intelligent to know that, she just needed to start again tomorrow? And so that was something that I really had some thought about this when I was getting these quotes. I thought, yeah, that fiddle-dee-dee, tomorrow's another day. Maybe she was that emotionally intelligent that she could say that. In It's Maureen Mitchell, right, that wrote that. Then in her, it's like, boy, in today's knowledge, I'm going, maybe she was smarter than your average bear. All right. So now then, the next one is also very famous, and I'm certain that you will get this one. So both, if you want to just take a guess, this is which movie and any idea when it came out. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. Anybody smile? Because you go, I know that one. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. And to me, this was such an iconic line. And that the fun fact is, The Godfather in 72. Did you cheat it, Jody, or did you take a really good guess at the date? The reason I say that is because 72 is a long time ago. And one of the things that I found really interesting, for those of, Lionel, well done, Lionel. Hey, give him a hand here. Lionel, the interesting thing, a fun fact that I didn't know, and maybe Lionel didn't either. Do you know that they included that line in each of the Godfather movies? Did you all know that? They knew that after the first movie that it was an iconic line. Even if can you imagine the writer of these lines that goes, I can't believe I wrote something that became so famous, right? So what they did is they knew that was the best line in the movie for the watching public, that they included it in different ways in every one of the Godfather movies. Now, I didn't know that. How about you guys? It's in one way or another. They had some character in the next two. They did three, right? In the next two movies after it, they had some. Yeah, I didn't realize it either, Lionel. I thought that was really interesting. Part of me wants to go back and rewatch 2 and 3 just so I can hear where they dropped it in. I love it when I learn little things like that. Now, this one as well is very well known if you happen to be alive at the time and watch this movie. So you know it's an older one. You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am. Very famous actor that said that. And I wonder if any of you know which movie it came from. I'll wait just a little bit. I don't have any fun facts about that movie. Huh, sorry about that. Very good, Lionel. Gets another point, all right? On the Waterfront, Brando. Absolutely, he recognized the actor as well. And it was 1954, Lionel. You know, it's amazing that was actually that far back. I don't know if I'd taken a guess on that one, I would have probably said in the 60s, but it was actually back in 1954. Isn't that amazing? How about this one? I'm certain all of you that saw the movie would recognize this. I've got a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. So I keep thinking, yes, The Wizard of Oz. Well done, Lauren. And any idea when it was released? Right. So Daniel's good at this, but Isabel says she's not. Don't worry about it, Isabel. This is just a fun thing. We're not trying to win big points here, except we'll give them to Lionel, hands down already. 1939 is correct in the year. Now, the fun fact, do you know that this I've got a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore, is one of the most famous movie quotes in film history. Okay. It's been parodied by many different movies and different television shows. Hi there, Nana. So, as a line from a movie, it is one of the most iconic. And can you imagine the writer just happened to say, "Well, we're not in Kansas anymore. Let me throw that line in there." Little did the writer know that was going to be, because I'm pretty sure when these writers write these lines, they don't know how much impact they're going to have. For example, this is one that some of you will definitely react to, which is, "Here's looking at you, kid." Such a simple line, and yet it became an iconic line. As one of those lines where, the moment you hear it, you can see the visual. And that's what is so incredible. Yeah, and it's just like, there are a couple of really good quotes out of that particular movie, which is why the movie itself is such an iconic movie. Because it pulled at the heartstrings at so many different levels. Okay, so Erin's talking. Yes, well done, Nana. Humphrey Bogart was in it. Very good. Casablanca, well done, Jody. And Bogart, yes. Any idea of the year? Erin's saying about The Wizard of Oz, it was a staple in her household whenever things are going wrong or changing. Yes, what a good idea. All right, whenever you've got turmoil in your life, watch The Wizard of Oz. Good idea, Erin. Thank you for adding that. So Casablanca, there are a lot of very famous quotes out of that. I'll get to another one in a second, but just great movie. 42, actually. Jody, good guess. Back in 1942, they released that. Erin's mum also told a woman one time that she was just mad because they dropped the house on her. Her sister, my mum's ultimate insult. I think that's so cute. Yeah, she just got mad because they dropped the house. Yep, I love it. All right, so now that we got past Casablanca, are we all ready for another one? Totally different genre. We're going now from the sort of fun ones into, this is not such a fun one necessarily. How about Go Ahead, Make My Day? I must admit, when I heard that in the movie theater, when I watched that movie, it was just like, oh, what a great line. I can remember reacting to that. I can just remember the day I heard that line. And I knew then, for me, it was an iconic line. It was just like, yeah, go ahead. Make my day. All right. I'm pretty sure you all know who said it, but do you know which movie it came from? Oops. Okay. So, Lauren, did you look it up or did you happen to remember it? All right. Yes, it is from the movie Sudden Impact. And yes, you know something, Jody? I thought it was from Dirty Harry as well. And it wasn't. It was from Sudden Impact. I would have put money on the fact that it came from Dirty Harry, so I'm glad I didn't put money. Oh, well done, Mum. Lauren's mum knew where it was from. Give her a round of applause. Does she know what year it came out? She can probably link it to something in her life. And, on these years, just give me, the decade. Do you think it came out in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, whatever? So what decade do you think that Southern Impact? Jody's saying 81. Very close, Jody. It was 83. Hi, Beth. Welcome. We're doing famous quotes from movies. to see how everybody did. Yes, 1983 was the year. Now this one comes from an older film, so just be aware of that one. But if you've seen the movie, it's an iconic line. You'll never forget it. All right, Mr. DeMilne, I'm ready for my close-up. It was not only a movie, it was a show. It was a Broadway show. And do you know what year the movie was released? All right, Mr. DeMilne, I'm ready for my close-up. Very well-known play, actually. It was a play way before it was a movie, I believe. Yeah. Betty Davis, All About Eve. Good guess, but no. No, a good guess, but no. It actually came from Sunset Boulevard. You're probably kicking yourself, Jody, because you knew that. From the 1950s. All right? It actually released in 1950. This one, I'm pretty sure everybody will get, so smile. May the force be with you. My memories of this particular movie was that when I saw it, I must admit, I thought it was a good movie, but I didn't know it would be as big as it became. And all credit to them, everybody that was in it, because they created a way of life almost. May the Force Be With You came from which movie? And when was it released? Star Wars. Well done. In 77. Well done, Jody. Very good. All right. You see how clever you all are. I knew you would be. How many of you can remember seeing that when it came out? It was just like, wow. That, in fact, that and A Space Odyssey, to me, both those movies were just like so far ahead of their time in many ways. And it was just like, we were so little did we know that these movies would go on to become such huge blockbusters that they did. All right, this one, if you like older movies, if you watch the Turner type old movies, you will remember this line. Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night. The movie came out in the 50s, just so that you know. And I have heard that line many times throughout my life, all right? When people have been saying things and they'll say, fasten your seatbelts, it's going to be a bumpy night. And so again, it's one of those lines that just carried on forever. It came from the movie All About Eve, and probably a lot of you aren't old enough to remember. You remember it well. Right? All right, so now then, number 10. If you watch this movie, you will remember this line. You talking to me? And while I'm giving people time to get the delay and answer this, I want to give you a fun fact. It was not in the script. It was not in the script. The lead actor, who we will discuss in a moment, the lead actor had an instruction in the script that said that he needed to talk to himself. Very good, Lionel. Wins again. It's actually 76, Lionel, but well done. Yes, and the actor was dum 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 dum. The the actor who was, come on, Lionel. De Niro, right? Robert De Niro had a line. I didn't know this, but I just found this out today. That said, Travis, that was the name of his character in the movie. Travis speaks to himself in the mirror. That's all that he was meant to do. He was just meant to go, well, in the mirror, right? And he wasn't meant to say anything out loud. And he instinctively said, you talking to me? You know? And it became an iconic line from the movie. Apparently, De Niro was well known for taking, these little moments and turning them into iconic lines into movies. He had a natural gift for knowing, what should have been written that wasn't, and he used to put them in. Now then, wonder if any of you remember this one. What we've got here is a failure to communicate. What we've got here is a failure to communicate. And then after that, Nana's asked whether she can put one in. So if you don't mind waiting, Nana, we'll just finish this one first. And it's probably on my list, but never mind. We'll let you do it your way. All right. So what we've got here is a failure to communicate. Do any of you remember the movie? It came out in the 60s. Hi, Nyasha. Good to see you. We're doing quotes from movies, Nyasha. It came out in the 60s. And all right. The movie was Cool Hand Luke. It came out in 67. All right. So, Nana, what is yours? So if anybody else has a favorite line for a movie, as long as you get it right, and as long as you can give the year and the movie, that would be awesome. Damn the Torpedoes, Full Steam Ahead. Which movie did that come from? Interesting. I don't know. I've heard it. Obviously, a war film. I'm gonna go with. You know something? I'm gonna go with The Hunt for Red October. I don't know why. But I think it's a war movie, not that particular movie, but we'll see. Yep. So there we go. Wasn't The Hunt for Red October, so therefore it was a war movie. Oh, really, Lionel? Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? That we both thought that. Yeah, yeah, it's okay. We understand that it's wrong. So apparently nobody's getting it, Nana. So how about you let us know? The movie and the year, please. I don't even know that movie. Yours, mine, and ours. Wow. I really, I have to tell you, I don't think I've seen the movie, although I know the quote. Maybe I have. I'll have to double check that. Yours, mine. That's obviously about children. Never heard of it. No, pretty obscure. That's for sure. All right. How about this one? Thank you, Nana, for contributing that. How about I love the smell of napalm in the morning? Anybody know that one? Well, there you go. We got people that have seen it and loved it. So isn't that wonderful? All right. So I love the smell of napalm in the morning came from which movie? Ah, Robert Duvall. Now there's an actor we don't hear much of these days. Right, Beth, you're thinking Robin Williams. I thought it was Robin Williams as well when from Good Morning Vietnam. I That was my guess. Are you thinking the same thing, Beth? But it wasn't. So let me give you a clue. I believe that Charlie Sheen was in it. I could be wrong, but I think Charlie Sheen was in it. Yeah. All right. It came from Apocalypse Now in 79. Yes, I wanted to say Good Morning Vietnam as well, Erin. So a lot of us got that completely wrong. Now, this one will be a no-brainer if you watch the movie and are probably still crying. Love means never having to say you're sorry. And I've got a fun fact about this one. The fun fact is, I don't want to don't want to give away the actor, but I do have a fun fact on that one. Love means never having to say you're sorry came from a movie that, yes, it came from Love Story. Well done, Nana. Any idea what decade Love Story came out in? Did it come out in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s? And now that we've got the movie, the fun fact is 2 years later, after Love Story got released, 2 years later, Ryan O'Neal heard the same line again in the film What's Up, Doc? When Barbara Streisand says it to his character and Ryan responded, "That's the dumbest thing I ever heard." So it came up, 2 years later in another movie, that same line, "Love means never me having to say you're sorry," and Ryan O'Neal said that's the dumbest line I've ever heard. Which I thought was really interesting considering it was such an iconic line. Now, this one, I'm pretty sure that if you watch the movies, you know it, obviously. And that is They Call Me Mr. Tibbs. I want to tell you. Oh, you're enjoying it. I'm glad, Jody. I try to think of fun things to do on a Friday night. All right, now this movie, if you saw it, the lead up to this is the other character in the movie says, "What do I call you, boy?" And he said, "They call me Mr. Tibbs." And I say it that way because that was the way that I remember it being said. I believe Sidney Poitier was the actor, if I've got it right. Lionel will let me know, I'm sure. Um, yes, Nyasha. So Again, a great movie, iconic of its time. Nobody. Come on, you guys. I know you know this one. Well, if you saw it, you know it because it really was a showstopper in the movie. Dum 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 dum. Trying to allow for the delay, but I think you've probably had enough time. Okay, it came from In the Heat of the Night, back in 1967. All right, and it was really, yeah, Heat of the Night. Well done, Jodie. It really was an incredible movie of its time, and it really addressed the racial divide at the time in the States. Great movie, just a really great movie. All right, now this one's a really old one. It came out of the 40s. All right, so that's a heads up for those of you. But if you like old movies, you will know this one. In what movie was the word rosebud the catch line? That's all. The actor literally just kept saying rosebud. All right, and that was. If you saw it, you can see it, if you know what I mean. And it came from what is considered to be one of the greatest movies of all time. And Mummy Dearest, nice guess, but no, quite a bit older than Mummy Dearest. I think. I'm not sure when Mummy Dearest came out. I got a feeling that came out in the. Citizen Kane is correct. Well done, Jodie and Lionel. I'm not sure which one of that duo got that one. Yes, I am delayed. You're quite right. So yeah, actually 41, but it was that far back, yes. Now this one, that was Lionel again, right? he has a love of older movies. All right, so here is the next one, everybody. And how about Louis? I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Actually, he might have said Lewis, now that I think about. But no, something says no. He would have pronounced it Louis. Louis, this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, and I'll explain my reasoning in a second. I believe it was said as the two of the main characters from the movie are walking into the misty night. And it was a black and white movie. Oh, Hasta la Vista, yes. All right. So I'm sure people will remember Hasta la Vista, baby. Yeah. And we'll find out what year that was in. And yes, it has been used many, many times in other situations as well. Okay, so that I'm beginning to think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship came from Casablanca again. And they were literally walking, as far as I remember, they were the two guys, that's why I think he called him Louis, because it was the French legionnaire and Humphrey Bogart. Now, this one I'm pretty sure you all know if you watch the movie. A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. I think, didn't he go at the end of that. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Silence of the Lambs with Anthony Hopkins. Absolutely. Do you happen to know the year? 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Where do you think it came in? Hannibal Lecter is also correct. Yes, Isabel, well done. Who was played by Anthony Hopkins. So well done, Isabel. Actually, it was 1991. That surprised me as well. I thought it would have been the 80s as well, but it actually came out at the beginning of the 1990s. All right. So how about another movie from the 1990s? So get your mind around those movies. Show me the money. Show me the money. Two very famous actors in that part of where that line came out. Which movie did it come from? Yeah, Erin's saying the Silence of the Lambs still creeps her out. Yeah, I think it's all of us. Well done. Well done. Jody's saying the actors were Tom Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr. Correct. Nice clues there. So anybody remember the name of the movie? Jerry Maguire. You're going, duh. Now, I hope you guys are enjoying this because I thought, what can I do that will bring memories up for different people and hopefully a smile here and there. How many of you can remember Dustin Hoffman? Yeah, I'm sure you did, Jody. How many of you can remember Dustin Hoffman hitting a yellow cab and saying, I'm walking here. I'm walking here. Well done, Erin. Yes, Jerry Maguire it was. If you saw the movie, it was a really important part of the movie where he and the other lead actor are walking down the streets in New York, and a yellow cab gets too close for him, and he hits it and goes, "I'm walking here. I'm walking here." The movie Midnight. Well done again, Lionel. Excellent. Midnight Cowboy. Another fun fact. Do you know it was not in the script, Lionel? It actually happened. The scene was improvised. Midnight Cowboy actually filmed in New York City, so the taxi in the shot actually was a New York cab. They got too close to Dustin Hoffman, and remaining in character, he yells at the driver, and they left it in. How many of you can imagine that? Dustin, I'm walking here. Now he could have. Yeah, that's what he said. The cab, as they were filming, the cab came too close to him, and he just hit it. And if you see it, he was still had a cigarette in his mouth and everything, and he said it with a cigarette in his mouth. I'm walking here. I got a feeling he really meant it too. I've never sort of seen Dustin Hoffman as somebody with a temper, but if you watch it in the movie, he really does look pretty angry. And now I realize he wasn't acting. All right. So, as famous movie lines go, this one by now you definitely should have it because we've had other quotes from it. Play it again. Oh, sorry, play it, Sam. Play as time goes by. Again, one of those movies that, is iconic. Yeah, I love these little fun facts about different movies. I find them really interesting. I'm going, I didn't know that. And I do like to know these things. So, which movie had the line, play it, Sam, play as time goes by? And then later in the movie says, don't ever play it again. Dum 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 dum. Humphrey Bogart, correct. Bonus point. Dum 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 dum. All right. Black and white. Set in North Africa. You can get there, people. That's enough clues from me. The Maltese Falcon? No. You just couldn't believe I found another quote from that other one. Jody. It came from Casablanca. Yeah, and I understand why you went to the Maltese Falcon. I totally get that. You couldn't believe. Don't hum, it's distracting your thinking. Then don't listen. It's just the Jeopardy music, Nana. And it's meant to put pressure on. Okay, so that was another quote from Casablanca. Now, I want to tell you, this was another line that when it was delivered, the way that it was delivered, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, that one is going to be one of those lines that we will remember for a long time. And the line was, you can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. Again, two very famous actors were interacting at that time. I believe there was court-martial going on, if I remember it correctly. A Few Good Men from Nicholson. Is that from you or from Lionel? It was Jack Nicholson. And to whom was he speaking? With such venom. I remember the venom with which. Oh, well done, Jody. Very impressed. All right. So he was talking to Tom Cruise. Okay.
You asked. I was coming to tell you he was talking to Tom Cruise.
Oh, Yvonne was busy doing the laundry and she heard the question and she said, I want to tell you he was talking to Tom Cruise. You're quite right.
It was A Few Good Men.
A Few Good Men. Well done. Well done. I'm very proud of you, Yvonne. All right. So, how about the line, I want to be alone? Hi, Yvonne, from Jody.
Hello.
Hi, Jody, from Yvonne. She couldn't resist coming up to answer that one. So, anybody remember the line, I want to be alone? Very old movie back in the 30s. I'm not sure if it was Dietrich. You could be right. Marlene Dietrich. Dietrich. I'd have to look that up, Jody, but I think you could be right. Can you remember the name of the movie? I don't know why. Okay. I got to check that out. Let me get my phone going see if anybody else knows the movie. So you can almost hear her saying it. Let me find out. 1932. Greta Garbo, I think, or Joan Crawford, one of the two. I'm not sure who said it, but it came from Grand Hotel. Okay, so why don't I just ask that question? Who said? Let's find out. Very old movie, but one of those classics as well. Greta Garbo. Yep, it was Garbo. Okay, so so proud of you guys. You're doing such a good job. Who said, after all, tomorrow is another day? Now, if you were listening from the beginning, you will know I already quoted this one. By accident. Forgetting that it was on my list. All right, and again, just forgive us for the delay because there is a delay. Again, Gone with the Wind, yep. And who said it? Which actress said it? We know it was Scarlett O'Hara, but who played the part? And a bonus point, do you know to whom she was married? And the reason that I wanted to talk about that was because it was such an iconic American movie that it was amazing that they actually cast an English actress to play the part of the Southern Belle. And the actress was Vivian Leigh, and she was married to Olivier, I believe, at the time. And I believe she also suffered from bipolar. I don't know if you guys know that. All right, and this is this is one line that came out of a movie, and it was the only time I believe that this particular actress said anything. It was the only thing she said, and it was the absolute linchpin of the movie. Are you ready for this one? Take a deep breath. I'll have what she's having. How many of you can just see that woman? I'll have what she's having. And if you saw the movie, you're still laughing. Imagine having one line in a movie and it turns out to be the line. And I think, that is, yeah, exactly. Well done, Anne. Yes, When Harry Met Sally is correct. Very good. 1989. Very close. Well done. Nana got it too. Yep. Isabel got it too. You see, you all remember it. And, just the look on that lady's face. I'll have what she's having. Welcome, Anne. Were you just coasting through the live broadcasts, or how are we lucky enough to meet you? I don't think I've seen you here before, but it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. And so I can still I want to say that it was Meg Ryan, right? It was just like I wouldn't want to have tried to play the part myself, but she did an awesome job. And it wasn't it, the person who said the line was very famous. She was the mother of the director, I think. Hang on, let's work out who it was. Hang on a second. Okay, let's just see who it was. Oh, actor-comedian Billy Crystal visited the Today Show and revealed just how that came about. Okay, I got to read this to you guys. Hang on a second. It was one of the most memorable scenes to ever hit the big screen, but few fans knew what it was really behind I'll Have What She's Having, that moment, that saw Meg Ryan deliver a very public and very fake orgasm until now. On Monday morning, actor Billy Crystal visited Today and revealed how it came about. It started in rehearsal where Nora Ephron, who was so great, said to Rob Reiner, all right, that's what it was, women fake orgasms. And Crystal recalled, he was like, shocked. Well, they've never faked one with me. But Reiner's incredulous response didn't deter the film's leads. Okay, so can you imagine that? Yeah, they never faked one with me. All right, so there we go. All right, now then, this was another iconic movie, and there have been so many in our lives for which we need to be grateful. This one, the line was, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." The clue is this movie had a couple of bars of music in it. And when you heard those bars, that particular, yes, Jaws, well done, Anne. Okay. Yes, Rob Schneider, very good, you guys. 75, but a good guess, Jody. Yep, you're going to need a bigger boat. Okay, Kimmy, good to see you. Meet Anne. We don't know where Anne is from, but I'm certain everybody will be kind enough to let Anne know where you are from. Anne, you probably know I'm from southern British Columbia in Canada. Yes, and so here's another one that if you saw it and there's no problem about who said it, but I'll be back. I'll be back. Came from which movie? We know who said it, right? We know Schwarzenegger said it, but do you know in which? Oh, I didn't mention my age. I'm about to be 72, Anne, just so that you know. So in which movie did Schwarzenegger say, and again, I wonder if he realized how iconic that little phrase was going to be. I'll be back. And it came from the movie Terminator. Well done, Jody. And that was from 1984. I thought it was older than that for some reason. Thought it was in the 70s, but it was 84. Now this one, definitely, I'm sure you can picture it. If you build it, he will come. I always thought it was if you build it, they will come, but actually it was he will come. If you build it, he will come. And I'm pretty sure that if you saw the movie, you can see the visual that went with that. If you build it. Field of Dreams. Well done, Lionel. Yes, it was 89. Well done again. And who said it? I have no idea who said it, but who did he say it to? He said it to Costner, I think, right? All right, this one. Is another movie I think I would take with me for the rest of my life because of its content. Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And for me, funnily enough, there was another line that for me had way more impact than that at the time. I mean, I understand it is the most famous line from the movie, but the one the one I liked was when he said he couldn't understand why his friend kept buying apples. He was buying shares in an apple growing company. Yeah, not that sort of apple, Forrest Gump. And I always love that. Can't understand why he's buying apples. Yes, Tom Hanks and Sally Field. Well done, Nana. And again, I think it's one of the movies that you could watch many, many, many times over and get something new out of it every time. So that would be number 2 on my list of movies I would take with me. And think about that so we can discuss it in a minute. What movies would you, if you could only, watch 5 movies, for the rest of your life, which 5, would be on your list? Or give me a couple of them anyway. Great movie. I'm due to re-see it. I try and see it every couple of years just so that I can get something more out of it because it really was an incredible movie. Just bit by bit of it was incredible. From which movie did the line, "We rob banks," come from? It was just so simple. We rob banks. That's what we do. What do you do? We rob banks. And I think, yes, Bonnie and Clyde. Well done, Kimmy. Give that girl a round of applause. Yes, Kimmy. Any idea what year? Bonnie and Clyde. Amazing movie in its time with a heartbreaking ending, right? A bit like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I don't know about you, but there was another one that you just knew that the ending was going to not be good, but quite something. So that came out of the 60s, 67, in fact. All right. So out of which movie did the line "We'll always have Paris" come? From which movie did the line "We'll always have Paris"? Very famous line. And it came out of the 40s again. And yes, it was Casablanca again. Amazing how many of the best known, out of the top 50 quotes of all time, so many of them have come from Casablanca. Isn't that amazing? So that was Humphrey Bogart again. Yes, well done, Jody. It was Casablanca. And here's the next one. Yeah, if you saw this one, hi Niasha, welcome back. If you saw this movie, you're probably still, cringing a little bit. By the way, when I saw this movie, I got it. I don't know how to tell you this. Oh, well, I'll tell you this after we've worked out which it is. I see dead people. Which movie? I see dead people. I've got a fun personal fact. Which, is so typical of me. Sixth Sense is right, Erin. Well done. Yep. And it came from the late 1990s, 1999, in fact. It's not that old, really, by comparison. Yes, absolutely. You're correct. Oh, Jody's got all the info. All right. M. Night Shyamalan. And Haley Joel Osment, who, by the way, I think got out of acting after that movie. I can't think why. This is the interesting thing for me. When I watched the movie, when he got shot in the stomach, I said, whoa, why would they kill Bruce Willis off in the first couple of frames? I remember saying that. And the person I was watching it with had seen the movie before and said, what did you say? And I said, I don't understand why they just killed Bruce Willis in the first. Is this a recap movie? And they said, what made you say that? And I said, they shot him in the stomach. Not many people survive from a shot to the stomach. I've watched enough war movies, and the westerns, and it was just like, not many people survive a shot into the stomach. And, it was like, you spoiled the whole movie, Sal. I said, why? They said, you'll find out. So I watched the whole movie, getting very confused, and I'm going, why is Bruce Willis still around? Because we know he got shot in the stomach. I kept saying that all the way through the movie. Why is he still there? So, anyway, yes, Sixth Sense. All right, this one, iconic. Houston, we have a problem. And I don't know about the rest of you, but it was like, what an incredibly calm thing. The way that it was said, Houston, we have a problem. Not freaking out, not screaming, not doing any of those things, just Houston, we have a problem. And I think it is worth rewatching this movie to look at emotional intelligence, because to be able to be in that critical situation and the only thing you say is, Houston, we have a problem. It shows incredible. It shows, I think, Tom Hanks, wasn't it? It shows incredible emotional intelligence, right? He kept all his emotion under control. So yes, Niashi, by the way, Bruce Willis was the star, and he did die. What we didn't know was that the other character have you seen the movie? Because the interesting thing was that we found out much later in the movie that the little kid in the movie only saw dead people. Or not, he could see dead people, which is why Bruce Willis was still around, because the kid could see dead people. And I got it in the first opening. And it was so funny because the people watching it with me had seen it before, and they said, "How did you get that?" And I said, "He got shot in the stomach." All right. So again, I would recommend re-seeing Apollo 13 as a movie because it's all about what to do under pressure. How about the guy that got a cold just before he was, I can't remember the name of the guy in real life, the guy that was going to go up on Apollo 13 and got held back because he had a cold, and then ended up being the hero because he was the one that worked out how to restart that capsule without it blowing a fuse. And I don't know about you, that to me was the best part of the movie, was that guy back on Earth doing all the, the stress on him was just unbelievable. And he just kept just going at it until he just kept failing until he got the answer. And I thought it was wonderful. Definitely one of those movies I also would like to have with me because it talked about how to cope when everything's going wrong. Now, again, this next one. No, I don't think you were slow, Niesha. I just, you know something? I just happened to have watched enough movies that had shots to the stomach. I don't think that you missed it because you were slow. I think that most people did not think about that. I just happened to, it was just so funny because I said, why would they kill him off on the first couple of frames of the movie? Never mind. All right. So how about this question was asked in a very well-known movie? You've got to ask yourself one question. Do you feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? It was said by Clint Eastwood, but in which movie? It's funny, Niasha. Thank you for saying that. I've got a good eye and thinking. I am known for having a very good eye for things. Yes, Jody, you're right. Dirty Harry. Great movie. Back in 71. Well done. So Niesha, I'm known to have a very good eye for things, and it is really amazing to me the things that somehow or other my subconscious mind picks up on some things. It actually has served me very well. It served me very well when I was a professional speaker because things could be happening in the room that nobody else saw, but I would pick it up and then I'd bring it into my speech and people would just crack up going, "How did you notice that?" I'm going, "I don't miss much." From which movie did the very famous line, "You had me at hello"? Another freeze there. Hang on a second. Just want to make sure everybody knows it's coming. Even the typing is frozen. There we go. You had me at hello. Right. So Erin is saying she got the sixth sense. That's interesting as well. And when he got shot in the stomach, the blood was what? Yeah. And they never showed him in hospital. Right. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, Erin, how just instinctively I knew something pivotal was in that front bit. And I just, yeah, as I said, I was totally confused because why was he still alive? So in which movie did they say you had me at hello? I think it was Reese Witherspoon that said it, but I could be wrong. And she said it to Tom Cruise. And Cuba Gooding Jr. was in it. How many more clues can I give you? I think it was Reese Witherspoon. It was one of her earlier ones, I think. All right, so it was Jerry Maguire again. So it's great that that ranks as one of the top quotes from any movie. Yep, Jerry Maguire. Well done. Who uttered the line, "There is no crying" in... Oh, Renee Zellweger. I can never say her name. Zellweger. I think it is. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Thank you. There's no crying in baseball. Who said it? If you can remember the movie, why would this person suddenly... There's no crying in baseball. He was very frustrated. You know, it was one of those moments where yeah, you had to laugh because it was he was so right. Yeah, when do you have crying in baseball? Well, you did that day. And the reason that there was crying, a league of their own, it was a bunch of women. That's why. Well done, Lionel. It was 92. You're off by 1 year, Lionel. Very good. Very good. Now then, here's one that will probably be another one that Lionel gets because it goes back, and Lionel's really good on those older movies. Who's where from in what movie was the line, "A boy's best friend is his mother"? Erin's saying, "I was wondering when you were going to say Jerry Maguire again, and I think that every girl watching that movie was crying with her." Yes, you had me at hello. Yeah, it was just like... I agree, Erin. I think every hopeless romantic watching, man or female, was crying with her. Yeah. Who said a boy's best friend is his mother? He has no idea. It's even stumped Lionel. How about that? Okay. Well, if it stumped Lionel, then the chances are it probably stumped. It came from the movie Psycho. Anthony Hopkins, I think. No, not Anthony Hopkins. Another Hopkins. Not Anthony Hopkins, the other one. I can see him. Anyway, I'm sure Lionel will tell me who it is. And back in 1960, long time ago. Why can't I think of his name? Pretty sure it was Hopkins, but it wasn't Anthony. Or was it a young? No, Bates. No, it was the Bates Motel. Oh, gosh. Now that's got me worried. Hang on a second. Who was in the original Psycho? I can see him. Hang on. 1960 film. Alan. Why do I want to say Alan Bates? Um. Anthony Perkins. There you go. I had the Anthony right. And Janet Leigh again. Great movie. Yeah. I want to tell you, a whole generation was scared to shower after that movie. All right, and here we go for your next one. Think about this one. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. And it was a trilogy, I think. I think it was a trilogy of movies. I think there were 3 of them, as far as I remember. I hope that's correct. And this was out of the second one. Yes, Anthony Perkins. Jody. I couldn't. Yeah, I kept thinking. Yeah, I know. I could see him, and I couldn't. Hi, Lizzie. We're doing quotes from movies, honey. All right. And did we get that last one? The keep your friends close and your enemies closer came from Godfather 2. All right, in 74. Moving right along. Okay, she's coming back. I don't know why. She's probably going to find something that will help her with these one-liners. I'm carrying right along because I want to just keep up the pace here. Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me, aren't you? Mrs. Robinson is the clue. You're trying to seduce me, aren't you? The words were said by somebody who actually we've talked about quite a bit already during the broadcast. And that's Dustin Hoffman. In which movie did he say, Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me? I always remember watching that movie. It was like, wow. Is he smart or what? Because she was. And I'm sorry for the delay that you're all experiencing, but yes, Jody, well done. Came from The Graduate. And that was back in 67. Yeah, it's a long time ago now. Now, this one was really funny. All right. It was a funny line. And I do want to tell you that it was a funny line. I just wonder if you know what movie it came from. And the line was, are you ready? Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room. Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room. Yeah, right. And for those of you who know, I think Peter Sellers said it. I could be wrong. Pretty sure it was Peter Sellers. Hang on, I have to look. This is a multi-device broadcast. I've got my laptop, my tablet, and now I've got my cell phone working as well. Let me see. Pretty sure it was Peter Sellers. Yes, good. All right, it was Peter Sellers, along with another, it had a lot of famous actors in this movie. George C. Scott was in it. James Earl Jones was in it. It was amazing how many well-known people there were in the movie. And for those of you who don't know, the movie was called Dr. Strangelove, and it came out in the 60s. You can't fight in here. It's the war room. Love it. And how about, again, I know it doesn't sound it, but it was a funny line, which is, "Get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape." Get your paws off me, you damn dirty ape. Who said that? Or rather, what movie was it from? Charlton Heston, maybe? I tell you, this is really making me double think here. Why do I think it was Charlton Heston? Maybe because I'm right. Let me find out. Yes, it was Charlton Heston. Okay, somebody agrees with me. Huh? See? Well done. In 68. Now then, how about the very famous line from elsewhere? In which movie did the lead actor say, "Here's Johnny"? And again, fun fact. Well done, Lionel. By the way, the interesting thing was, it wasn't in the script. The actor was actually told that this is what he needed to do, and what he had to do was break down a door. And when he broke down part of it, he literally put his face against it and then said, "Here's Johnny." And the director loved it so much he left it in. Well done, Jody. Jack Nicholson. I'm from The Shining. Ugh. All right, so here is the one that Nyasha added, which is Hasta la Vista. It was actually from Terminator 2, Nyasha, Judgment Day in 1991, just so you know. It is one of the most famous quotes from a movie. All right, now then. This is one of my favorite lines of all time from a movie. The one character says, actually Stryker was the name of the character, says, "Surely you can't be serious." And the pilot says, "I am serious and don't call me Shirley." "Surely you can't be serious." And he says, "I am serious and don't call me Shirley." I think Leslie Nielsen. Welcome back, Nana. Oh, no, she's not back. She will be back. Yes, from the movie. Well done, Anne. From the movie Aeroplane. I don't know about the rest of you, but I can still feel myself laughing at that line. It was brilliant. It really was. All right. How about the line, "Hello, gorgeous"? Again, 2 words. That's all that she said when she looked at this guy and said, "Hello, gorgeous." And that line stuck around an awful long time. It was said by a very famous singer. And I believe she said it to Omar Sharif. That should date it. I think I'm correct in that. For any of you who remember Omar Sharif, who could forget Omar Sharif? If you ever saw him, you could not forget him. It came from the movie Funny Girl in 1968. I'm sure some of you will get that, but the delay is just probably stopping it. Now, this one was an absolute Oscar winner, this movie. As far as I remember, it definitely was a contender if it didn't win it, but I think it did win. Where somebody said, "Listen to me, mister. You're my knight in shining armor. Don't you forget it. You're going to get back on that horse, and I'm going to be right behind you, holding on tight. And away we're going to go, go, go." Very famous line from a movie out of the 80s. "Listen to me, mister." Yes, well done, Anne. Wow. On Golden Pond it was. Well done. I'm very impressed. We love it when we have such bright people, right? Was it Katharine Hepburn? Really? On Golden Pond? Yes. No. Oh, yes, she was the mother. Right. I keep thinking Jane Fonda, but Jane Fonda was the daughter. Yeah, awesome. Well done. We're very impressed. In fact, I'm surprised we haven't had other from Katharine Hepburn movies. Maybe we'll get to them. In what movie was the line, yes, said to Henry Fonda, absolutely, remember that well. In what movie was the very famous line, "A martini, shaken, not stirred, first heard"? In what movie did we first hear the words, "A martini, shaken, not stirred"? And I've got a really fun fact on this one. One of those ones where I went, "Really?" It wasn't Dr. No. That was the first one. It was the second one, I believe, in which that came up. I don't know why it was not quoted out of the first one. I'd have to re-watch Dr. No. Maybe it was never said in Dr. No, but they're quoting it from Goldfinger, Jody, in 1964. The fun fact is this: that iconic scene has been parodied over and over again. In Casino Royale, 42 years later, Daniel Craig's James Bond will be asked, "Shaken or stirred?" And Bond responds, "Do I look like a give a damn?" And I think it's wonderful, that they bring back that line 42 years later. You ask me like I care. Just give me my martini. All right. And again, I'm sorry to keep repeating myself, but it's amazing how many classic lines there are. Yeah, I thought it was really funny. Do I look like I give it that? All right. How about I feel the need for speed. I feel the need for speed. And the clue would be, I believe they've just done a remake of it or a sequel to it, years and years and years later. It's just like Tom Cruise, yes, in Top Gun. Well done. They just released a new one. Is that right? There's a new Top Gun. And I don't know whether it's a sequel to the original or a remake of the original. I'm not sure. But yes, that's exactly who it was. Who said, and in which movie, seize the day, boys. Make your lives extraordinary. Who said, seize the day, boys. Make your lives extraordinary? Clue, I think he was standing on a desk when he said it. Robin Williams, Dead Poets Society. Oh, what a great group of, I tell you, I got great viewers. They're so smart. All right, a fun fact on that one. The inspiration for Robin Williams' character John Keating is Samuel Pickering, who most recently worked as an English professor at the University of Connecticut. I didn't know that. And we're coming towards the end of our quotes. The next one is snap out of it. Who said snap out of it? A woman said it. She said it to Moonstruck. Anne? Brilliant. Well done. Cher said it. Yes. To whom? To whom did she say it? I can hear her saying it. Can't you, Anne? I was going to say with an Italian accent, but I thought that would be too much of a clue. Why can't I think of the guy's name? Nicolas Cage. There we go. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that. We're just having a fun time here. All right. And from what movie? This is the last one. Oh, that was your favorite movie. Really? Moonstruck. That's wonderful. Well done, Anne. All right. And the last one that I've got for you this evening is this one. I'm king of the world. Who said at the time, the biggest grossing movie of all time, at the time it was released, who said, I'm king of the world? Leonardo DiCaprio is right for 1 point. In which movie? Not that we're really counting the points. In Titanic. So I'm hoping that this made it. Did anybody smile as we went through these lines? That was my intent. My intent was to be able to quote you some lines from movies that hopefully made you smile a little. Yes, Erin, you're right. It was Tom Cruise out of Top Gun. Yes, and as I said, I think they've just made another one of it. I'd have to look into that, but that's what I understood. So I just wanted to give a quick update. It was a fun evening. Great, Anne. Anne, where are you from? If we're allowed to ask that question, and if you can give us hello. Here comes Yvonne again. All right, this time.
It's called Top Gun Maverick.
It's called Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
And is it a remake of the original, or is it
him that many years later because he's an instructor and it's filmed in San Diego and it's at Comic-Con, whatever that festival is.
Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Comic-Con. Okay, Yvonne said it's actually the same character, but so many years later, and he's now the instructor.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the one scene with the instructor, the old fart guy that always
Yeah.
gets pissed off at him.
Yeah.
He's like, you could have been anywhere. You could have been a 2-star admiral. Why this? Why this place? And Tom Cruise says it's one of life's mysteries.
Wow. Thanks, Yvonne, from Jody. Well, I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. And Anne, oh, is it our Anne Marie? Why do I think Anne Marie when I think of Philadelphia? Maybe I got that wrong. Anyway, well done. I'm really impressed. Yes, Nyasha, you're realizing how young you are. You've heard some of these quotes, but you've never seen the movies. Yes. I'm probably, the oldest person in the room, and I've seen all those movies. But I didn't expect you all necessarily, except, that they are on the Turner Classic Movie Network. So if you watched those sort of old-time movies at all, you would have seen them. I think it's really important to watch, some of those iconic movies. So now, before we go, and we've got 15 minutes, I would like to hear from you guys, the viewers. If you could only take 3 movies with you for the rest of your life that you could watch, which 3 would you pick for you? All right? Because I think it's important to know, I'd be interested to hear, what Lionel's 3 movies are, or Jodie's, or I'm really interested to know from all of you, which 3 movies, Erin, which 3 movies would you choose? And Anne, with your great knowledge of movies, which ones would you pick? And Nyasha, as a younger person, which 3 movies have had the biggest impact on your life that you would like to see over and over and over again? And, it's just like, I think it's, I am so blessed to have seen so many movies in my time. And do you know something happened to me yesterday? And you've heard me talk about, visiting Heartland Hills, that's the Hallmark movies, or Snowflake Falls, as Jody calls it. I was visiting Snowflake Falls and Heartland Hills the day that the sale of my house collapsed, because I thought that was a good way to distract myself. And what did I come across? Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, in a movie in Heartland Hills. Oh, Pretty Woman. Why didn't we think of that one? Thank you, Erin. Yes, Erin saying she would want to take A Few Good Men, which was her daddy's favorite, and then Pretty Woman, her mom's favorite, and Little Mermaid, because it was your favorite Disney movie and still is. Oh, isn't that amazing? How did we not think? No quotes at all from Pretty Woman. Wow. Yeah. I would take that one quote when Richard Gere talks to the shop owner and says something like, and I want you to suck it up and treat her. Yeah, I can't remember the line, but it was just like, I love that. Yeah. Pretend that you like her, or else, Um, And there was, I was reading somewhere not so long ago that there was an alternative ending to that movie. Can't remember what it was, but I remember reading that they had one of two different ways to finish it. Jodie's saying she would choose, yes, Breakfast at Tiffany's. That reminds me, Twilight and This Boy's Life. I think I would also add in there Sabrina. I think I would like to watch Sabrina. Either of the versions of it. I don't mind which one. That would definitely be not iconic. As iconic, but I just love it as a movie. Yeah, I think there are a lot of us that really love Julia Roberts. She was so believable, or is so believable in most of the movies I've ever seen her in. And you know, and you got to give her credit for that. Really amazing. Breakfast and Tiffany's, yes. So now we're talking Audrey Hepburn. You know, and that made me think of Sabrina. I think Audrey Hepburn, you know, made some really beautiful movies in her day. Many of which, you know, I don't think you can go far wrong if you add a few of those. So Anne's saying, Auntie Mame. Actually, you know something, Anne? I left one quote out that came from Auntie Mame because I got a feeling that perhaps not too many people would know it. Moonstruck and The Wizard of Oz. All right. And there's so many, Jodie's saying there's so many Disney films I love though too. All right. And I saw an incredible quote from Judy today. Two of them. One of them was Judy listening to the ice cream truck coming and saying to little Juliana, oh, there's the ice cream man. And Juliana saying, why is it a man? Why does it have to be a man? And Judy answered, because women have got better things to do. You know, I thought that was a great answer. Great comeback. And what was the other one that I heard from one of the children? Oh, rats, I've forgotten it. It had to do with one of the Disney movies. All right, never mind, I've forgotten it, but I will. Erin, you've never seen Sabrina all the way through. It really is important to see it all the way through. Right? Because I think the very end of Sabrina, you know, the last 10 minutes is worth watching it for. You know, the first half hour and the last 10 minutes are worth watching it for, in my view. But I just loved it as a movie. And so, anybody else got the movies they would love to see more and more? Very interesting, the ones that people pick. And you know, the thing is that in a way we can't really say because we haven't seen the ones that are going to come. I was unusually struck with Avatar as a movie. I didn't think that I was going to like it, and I did. The other one that I saw that really impacted me was something called the Source Code. Has anybody seen that movie? Am I the only one? The Source Code. Yep. You know, that's one of those movies where you go, I think I need to watch that a few more times. Yes, Jodie's saying, I'd love to spend a day watching Audrey Hepburn movies. How many of you know that she made movies that made you feel good? All right. So if ever you're feeling a little bit down, it's a really good idea to put on some Audrey Hepburn movies if you can find them. Because without a doubt, she really did make movies that made you feel good. And I just think, you know, and I would say that's the question, I guess, for me, which is when you're feeling down, you know, which movies do you gravitate towards other than Snowflake Falls? Oh, anyway, so the whole point about the Snowflake Falls things was that I found, you know, and Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, in a Hallmark movie. And I don't know why. I didn't know that she'd ever made one. And she made it, I think, in about 2016. So you go, and she didn't even marry a prince in the movie. That would have been too weird. Can you imagine? I kept going, I wonder if she marries one of those. I don't know about the rest of you, but when you watch the Hallmark movies, my question always is, I didn't know there were that many eligible princes available in the world. But, there seems to be a never-ending supply, and they all seem to get married at Christmas. Have you noticed that? Jodie, it's not a fun movie. When I say it's not a fun movie, it's not a comedy or anything. It's but very, very clever movie. Where I got to the end of it and I went, I think I need to watch that again. It was but the only thing is, Jodie, make sure you go to the washroom before it starts. um, because it's a cliffhanger. The whole thing, you're sort of going, and 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 do you know what I mean? It's just sort of like, it is so tense. Yeah, Lionel will. I hope he will. Anyway, but it's sort of like, yeah, it was to me, it had an impact on me, and not many movies do. Where I literally at the end of it go, I need to see that again. Because you can't help thinking, what did I miss along the way? I know where it started and I know where it finished. How many bits did I miss? Right? I didn't get it in the first 10 frames, that's for sure. And what was the one movie that I watched that I couldn't continue to watch it? And it won an Oscar. Something about water, The Shape of Water or something. I actually couldn't watch it because everything about it, had anybody here watch that movie? Because I really want to check if my understanding of how it was going to end actually happened, because my mind stopped me from watching anymore, because I was pretty sure it was not going to end well, and I was pretty sure I knew how it was going to end, so I couldn't watch it because I knew I would be in tears. So did anybody watch The Shape of Water? I don't know. I've never asked that question before, but I really do want to know if I was right in my assessment of the movie. Haven't seen it. Anybody? It won an Oscar. I think it won a Best Picture almost. Actually, I think it won more than one Oscar. And it was fairly recently, the last 5 years. Okay, I've got to have a look here. I only watched it because in 2017. Okay. Nobody saw it. Wow. You guys, I'm going to have to actually check to see if anybody's put a spoiler up on the ending, because okay. All right. It sort of ended the way I thought it was going to, but not quite. I just did a spoiler alert on it. Well, there you are. I learned something today. All right, everybody. So I'm hoping that you all enjoyed this evening, and that you had some good memories, and that you learned something. Did anybody learn anything tonight? I can still see Dustin Hoffman going. I'm walking here, yeah, down, on top of. We're just finishing, Liz. Boom, boom, on the yellow cab. I'm walking here, not realizing that actually happened to him, and he just, yeah, the improvised scenes. I think I'm gonna try and see if I can find more of those, because I don't know about you. To me, that's really funny that some of those ones, and I'm talking to you. When he's looking at himself, I'm talking to you. So I think I will try and find some more of those. Jody, if you can make a note for me so that I can have a look. And the next time we do a fun one about movies, we'll see if we can get a whole slew of things where the lines weren't in the original script, but the actors put them in. I was watching recently on a program that thank you, Jody. Jody's saying thank you for putting this presentation together. Well, I try on Friday nights, I do try and find something that hopefully will make you smile a bit and think a bit. And life gets serious enough. And as I said, for those of you who've been following the house story, my house sale collapsed this week. In other words, the buyer didn't come up with the money, which meant I lost the sale of my house and I lost the purchase of the next one, that I found. All in the space of 48 hours. So that is why at lunchtime today, I did a whole broadcast about how am I coping with that news? Because here I am now in this start all over again phase. I have to start from scratch again, find a new buyer, all the delays on that. And I've got my brother arriving from overseas. I had people lined up to help me move. All these things were put in place and the money didn't come through. The buyer couldn't raise the money to buy. Now, there's part of you, I'm sure, going, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. They shouldn't be allowed to put in a bid if they can't afford to buy. Do any of you think like that? Because the truth is it happens. All right. And yeah, I know, Lizzie, but you know something, Lizzie, Lizzie, you will hopefully smile at this one. One of the things that I said to myself, what self-respecting artist, for those of you who don't know, that's what I am. What self-respecting artist buys a house with an off-white carpet in it? Really? What was I thinking? So, thank you, God. Yes, just saying, I would feel so guilty. I can't do that to someone who has their heart set on something that big. Well, yeah, yeah, I had a feeling as an artist, I'm certain Nana would understand that as well. It's just like, yeah, really, what was I thinking? Jody's saying, I urge everyone to watch the replay of the noon broadcast. And she's saying it was such a valuable lesson in emotional intelligence that Sal shared with us. Thank you. No, white carpets are not good for artists at all. No, but I would have made a plan. And that's what I said when I think how much time I spend, taking paint off my laminate floors. What was I thinking that a white carpet would be a good idea? But it was pretty. Did you see inside it, Lizzie? If not, it's in the vlog called Yikes. I did a walkthrough for you guys so you could all see the place I looked at and see why I fell in love with it instantly. It had my name all over it. It just looked like the inside of mine, except better, in some ways. And so but I did want you to see why I just instantly fell in love with it. Huge kitchen, 2 bedrooms at opposite ends of the unit, all sorts of things. And it was just like, yeah, this got my name on it. So we will see what comes up next. So onwards, people, we will start again. Oh, Lizzie's saying, Sal, somebody paid me a compliment today. They told me I was one of the most emotionally intelligent people they have met. And I wanted to say thank you because you tuned me into mine. Wow. Thank you, Lizzie. And I take that as a huge compliment. But you know something? That's why I said I'm going to spend the year talking about emotional intelligence. Because as I said at lunchtime today, when I look at all the letters I get, all the emails I get, all the questions I get asked, the one thing it all falls under is emotional intelligence. And I really said to myself when I was planning the year, what one thing, if I did nothing else, what one thing do I believe my viewers need? And it was emotional intelligence. And that's why I said I'm going to spend the year talking about it, around it, in and out of it, so that people grow emotionally. By the time we're halfway through the year, I'm glad to hear. I know Jody feels the same way. Liz is saying, no, thank you. If it wasn't for you all, I wouldn't have grown the way I did. And you've still got a long way to go, and so have I, and so has everybody, and Kimmy, and we Nyasha, everybody. We've all got a long way to grow, and let's continue to grow together. That would be my wish for us, that we continue, and that's why the broadcast I did at lunchtime, which was called Restart, the reason I wanted to do that was because I wanted you to see how in an instant my whole world fell apart. And the question I was pretty sure you all would be asking was, how did you deal with that? How did you deal with the news? How did you do with the waiting? And that's why I did the broadcast. And I talked about, you know, exactly how I dealt with it. And I'm still dealing with it. Because I think it's important, because you all relate to how devastating that would have been. I know that because you care about me. And I thank you for that. But I knew that you would all take a really deep breath when you heard that that sale collapsed. And when you see it, you'll take a really deep breath. But I wanted you to see what I did to help myself. And I'm hoping that it helps a lot of people. As I said during the broadcast, I may not be alive, and I'm hoping that that broadcast alone will help a lot of people. I'm not joking. That was just like, I think in that broadcast, I managed to get the essence of what emotional intelligence was really all about and what you need to do. Liz is saying, I've had this year and it's been challenging one. And I wish the same. Exactly. Yeah, watch it, Lizzie. I don't think it'll be a waste of time for you. I really don't. And I would take some notes as well. And by the way, most of the way through, I was giving visual examples of what I was talking about to try, because I know some of you will learn by hearing, but some of you need to see the picture sometimes. And that's a visual learner, which is why I keep the little whiteboard with me here, because I know that so many of you sort of understand it, but when you see the picture of it, you go, oh, now I get it. And I've always said that to whenever I was training management people, I said, you need to understand there are two types of learners. Some of them can read and learn. Others need to see it to learn. And then you've got another group, and some of you will relate to this. Others need to do it to learn. All right. And so from that perspective, I know that a lot of you will go through some major disappointments in your life, and I'm hoping that that one video alone will help you have the tools to be able to do that. Yes, Lizzie, I'm not surprised you're a visual learner. All right. I'm not surprised at all. I also gave some practical examples of something that happened to me uh, with Google, because something went wrong with my computer related to Google. And I also used the same example to show you what I did when I contacted Google about a problem. What I'm trying to do is not give you the theory. I'm trying to give you, how do I put these facts into reality? How do I use what I now know? And I'm hoping that it will help more of you. So do watch it if you get a chance. I will be back on Sunday, when we will, as usual, be doing our Soul Sunday broadcast. And just in case you're going, what's for dinner on Sunday, Sal? Because they all ask me that. It will be barbecued spare ribs. We haven't had that for a long time. Wade came up and helped me with something. So I said, it's your choice. Here are the options. What would you like? Barbecue spare ribs came up high for him. And I'm probably going to do a sort of pasta and bacon pie to go with it. I mean, if you're going to have spare ribs, you know. All right. So everybody, I'll let you know more about that when I get there. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you so much for spending this evening with me. And I'm glad that you enjoyed the quotes from the movies. We will definitely see if we can find some fun facts out of the movies for another one of these, if you guys would enjoy that. Nyasha says, I have to look back at the one called Disappointments. That broadcast has my name written all over it. Had lots over the course of your life. Yes. So think about that, Nyasha. Also watch that one I did at lunchtime. That one really shows you exactly how to deal with a major disappointment. All right. And so see them both, but I would really, in your case, I would recommend you watch them both. All right, everybody, thank you so much for spending the time and sharing it with me. We will see you on Sunday. In answer to your question, Anne, is it a cooking show? No. They just asked me. They know I cook for Yvonne and Wade and Yvonne's daddy, who we call Papa. I cook for them every Sunday night, and I always get asked, what am I cooking? What's my meal for them tonight? My question, with tears in my eyes, was, what am I going to do on Sundays when I move? For 20 years, I've been cooking for my tenant and friend Yvonne downstairs on a Sunday. And, you know, it's really strange. It's like, what am I going to do when I move? I have no idea. But I can feel it. Invite them over. Yeah, they can't leave Papa together, you know. So we will make a plan. I said I will just have to package it up and freeze it and then let them have it when they come visit, or when I come visit, you know. Just come with these are the meals for the last couple of months. You know? All right, so touches my soul, right? You imagine doing it for 20 years, and now I've got to work out what am I going to do when I don't do that anymore. I thought I really probably would start cooking. I will find somebody else to cook for, is what I think. You know, I will find somebody who needs a meal that I can cook for. I will find that person, I'm sure. I just have to ask around. All right, everybody. So this is Dear Mama Sal sending you all a big hug. Remember to look after one another. But most of all, as Nyasha was talking about, you know, remember to look after yourself. Also remember there are great lines in every movie. Think about that. When you watch a movie, don't listen to it, you know, subconsciously. Actually watch the movie. Even if it comes from Sunshine or Snowflake Falls or, you know, Heartland Hills. You know, even those movies have some great lines in them if you care to look for them. And I would really recommend that the movies take you out of yourself and into another world. And sometimes we need to do that, just to regroup and start again. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you on Sunday for the non-cooking show. And it's Sunday is our Soul Sunday. We do like a meditation type thing on a Sunday. This is Dear Mama Sal saying bye for now, everybody. Bye-bye.